banner. Team USA Hoops Edition. Ballin'. Or maybe I should say Tatum. Maybe not. Travis Thomas here with the walking, talking triple-double. Producer extraordinaire. Straight baller. Ante Campbell, he would get minutes on Team USA. What's up, pimp?
Not right now, I wouldn't. I'm old and slow. I ain't got it. You know what I mean? I'll leave that to the real hoopers. But shout out to Anthony Edwards. I know I always give this man a lot of love, but he kept my 15-point prediction alive.
Yeah, he did.
By getting the steal at the end of the game and then hitting that three. He was doing it all. So shout out to Ant, man. Always looking out for me.
Absolutely. Listen, Steve Kerr, Ante, finally decided to play Jayson Tatum. Not only did he play him, he started it. He started him. That's exactly where I want to start here. So we'll say goodbye to Ante for now. We'll bring him back. Finally, a game I can get behind. I know. Wicked or kick it today, where we judge NBA player drip. So I love that. So we'll bring Ante back for that, and that's where I want to start. Tatum starting the game. Thank you. How about Steve Kerr finally listening to Hold My Banner and just being flexible overall with the lineups? More on that, but let's start with Tatum. I mean, we all saw it. I feel bad for the guy. It's just like he was late to camp. He didn't play well in the exhibition games. You know, Kerr hasn't played him at all. Now you just, okay, I messed up. Now you just start him. And it's just like, good luck, man. Go out there. And, I mean, what do you think Jayson Tatum's going to look like? Right? He was rusty as all hell against South Sudan. Of course he was. He doesn't have any flow. He doesn't have any rhythm with these guys. And he looked it. He looked lost. He looked uncomfortable offensively. He looked rusty. Outside of a very nice pass, a nice assist to Anthony Davis underneath early in the game for a dunk, he didn't do anything, quite frankly. I mean, he had a garbage bucket late, but that's not Jayson Tatum. So I think big picture, he'll be fine. But, man, I mean, can we get the guy some minutes, please, Steve Kerr? Now, this is not the episode, because Lord knows I've done it plenty, where I'm hard on Steve Kerr. In this one, I will be kind, nice, loving to Steve Kerr. Because thank the basketball gods, he didn't start Joel Embiid against South Sudan. Again, hark the angels. I mean, thank you. Not only did he not start Joel Embiid didn't play. Yes, Steve Kerr. Yes. Anthony Davis gets the start. Smart. Long overdue. And then what do you know? You don't bring in Joel Embiid. You bring in Bam Adebayo. And voila. My man has a great game. He hit 2 3-pointers. He shot 80% from the floor. He finishes with 18 points, 7 boards. Well, what do you know? 2 players in the Brow and Bam who are athletic, can run the floor. They don't look slow. They don't slow the offensive flow down where they go down in the post and they just wait for the ball. Fantastic. They were both defending. They were doing everything, flying around. Look how much better the offense looked. Look how much better this team looked. Not trying to force it to Joel Embiid. I mean, oh my God. Steve Kerr, thank you, bro. Thank you. Overall, Team USA against South Sudan. I was impressed. I was. I know this is turning into a Steve Kerr love fest, but you know what? The past few episodes I've been going in on, bro. I came into this game, I had no faith, none, that he could do all the things he did in this game. He made adjustments. He was flexible with lineups, matchups, rotations. Check, check, check. Team, we talked about this. The team was prepared. When they saw South Sudan in the exhibition, clearly they slept on him. That was a mistake. And we said, athletic, fast, hungry. I mean, those boys mean business. Steve Kerr finally had this team ready to go, ready to rock. In addition to being flexible with the lineups, he had Team USA prepared. They came out gangbusters. Even though I just said Jayson Tatum looked rusty, overall the team had high energy. They were attacking offensively early. How about the full court press defensively for the entire quarter? I mean, I thought, okay, first couple possessions, we saw Serbia do that to Team USA in the last game. They came out first few possessions, same thing, high energy. They pressed for a couple possessions, and then they backed off. No, Kerr kept a press the whole quarter. I mean, it created turnovers. It worked. It was fantastic. Had the energy high, creating turnovers. Guys were flying to the basket. Yes, thank you. Oh, my God, finally. In addition to Bam's performance, because I did give him a gold star, I got to give Derek White one too. He was lights out. He had a scary moment for all of Celtics fans where he got railroaded. He got rocked in the back from some South Sudan player. He was fine. We all know how tough the toothless wonder is. We've seen it firsthand, have we not? So we know what it is with Derek White. Stayed in the game, no problem. He finished with 10 points, but more importantly, he had clutch plays. I mean, he had clutch threes. How about defensively? Steals, blocks. Bro just makes all the right moves, doesn't he? Derek White makes all the right plays in the biggest moments at the right time. He lets the game come to him. He lets the game flow through him. He doesn't force anything. I don't even want to go back to this topic. We all know Jaylen Brown deserves to be on this team. Yes? But Derek White does too. I'm sorry. I don't feel like it should be tit for tat here. It shouldn't be Jaylen Brown should be there, not Derek White. Watching Derek White now play with this team, I'm not going to hold you. At first, I was thinking, Derek White? Now, I get it. He's perfect for Team USA. Perfect. Plays his role. Doesn't complain. He does the same thing on the Celtics. It's the same thing. Plays his role, doesn't complain. Team guy, everyone loves him. Ball comes to me. Shots there, I'm taking it. Not, make the right basketball play. Defensively, forget it. I'm shutting everything down. He's just fantastic. I love watching Derek White play. In the end, Team USA is imperfect. They are. We've seen it, right? But credit to Steve Kerr. Clearly adapting, being flexible, check. We also, one other thing to think about, we haven't seen this team really put it together yet, all of them at the same time, right? We see the Titans. We've seen LeBron. We've seen Durant. Durant had another great game. We've seen LeBron. We've seen Durant. We've seen Steph in moments. Pick them up, bail them out, whatever you want to call it, do their thing. We've seen that. We've even seen Anthony Edwards have some moments. Derek White, Drew Holiday's had a few moments. But the whole team hasn't really come together just yet. Joel Embiid still hasn't figured it out. You know he's going to play. Jayson Tatum hasn't figured it out. He hasn't played. Now he's playing, and he looks rusty, right? Tyrese Halliburton got some minutes, got some shots. I think now, as we move forward, there's going to be a point, and hopefully it's sustainable when it happens, but there will be an inflection point where everybody on this roster, from coach to player, puts it together at the right time, and then watch out. Because let's face it, both Serbia and South Sudan are formidable foes. They're legitimate threats to Team USA. And even without everyone having it all together at the same time, and it's been piece by piece, Steve Kerr struggled with some things. Even with all that, they have now, let's call it what it is, comfortably, I wouldn't call it beat down, I wouldn't say cruised. It's been a little turbulent, but in the end, they've comfortably beat two legitimate threats in those teams, in those countries. Kudos to Team USA. They're not the dream team. We could see it. It's okay. The world isn't what the dream team played against either, right? The world's better. It's okay. We're good. I like now what I'm seeing from Team USA. Boy, was I nervous as all hell during them exhibition matches. But, hey, here we are, 2 games in against real teams. They've looked good. Not great, good. Greatness still awaits them when they put it all together at one time. I do believe it's coming. We'll see if it's Puerto Rico or not. But at some point, that will happen. All right, so there we go. We'll bring Ante back. But first, our George Bilecki had a chance to catch up with former NBAer Michael Carter-Williams. And he's telling me all week, he's like, hey, Trav, I got Michael Carter-Williams coming through to the studio. I'm like, yeah, I can't wait to meet him. What time are you recording? He's like early in the morning. I was like, okay, I'm not going to be there for that. So, Ante, we know George did eventually catch up with him. Were you here when he brought him in the building? I was not. It was too early for my blood.
I was
You
here.
were.
I was
you
in
got
the
to
building.
meet him.
I got to meet him.
Hey, give me the measurables. How did you measure up? I know how you think. When you looked at him, were you thinking I can go to the cup and finish? Or were you thinking, hey, man, this might be a problem? Like, what were the measurables as you sized him up? Because I know you did.
I ain't going to lie. I was looking at him and I was thinking, Jesus Christ, this dude plays the exact same position as me.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Point guard.
I know.
Like, I got to deal with this on the offensive and defensive end.
I know.
It looked like, I'm thinking about college, Syracuse,
Yeah.
Michael Carter-Williams.
Yep.
It looks like a long night, especially seeing that zone. I'm shooting a lot of threes that night. Probably looking to the refs a little too many times than I should.
Yeah.
They're going to be dogfighting there, beating me up. So he looked like he could guard. That's for sure. He had that long, athletic build, man. So, yeah, I can tell you, I'm definitely calling for that screen. Hey, screen.
Well,
screen him.
Well, I'm looking forward to the interview. George talked to him about everything from his time in the NBA to life after hoops. Check it out.
And then when you go to draft night, you get picked first round, taken by Philly. Again, I feel like that's like a dream route. Like you go to a great basketball school like Syracuse. You go to a great sports city, period, like Philadelphia. And then your first night in the NBA, go off against Miami Heat. Was it 22 points, 12 assists, 7 boards, 9 steals.
Yep.
You went like 4 for 6 from 3. What was that experience like of like my first night in the NBA? Like you put yourself on the spotlight and like told everyone you're here.
Yeah, I mean, it was surreal. Like, I mean, I didn't go into the game expecting that. But I was confident. I was like, I was so happy to finally play a game. Like it was my first time in the NBA, going through an NBA training camp. That's when training camps were like for real. It wasn't like nowadays where it's like, all right, we got 1-2 a day and the rest we're just gonna relax. No, like these were 4 days, 2 a days, like picking up full court practices and, we're going hard in practice. We had a young team. Brett Brown was a new coach. Like we had dog days. So I was like, man, finally the game has come. Like we get to play a real game. So I didn't know what to expect. I was just going in there and just flowing. And, obviously, it turned out real well. And I was telling all my homies that, like, man, I think we had like Miami Heat, and then we had Chicago, then we had Washington with John Wall, we had San Antonio with Tony Parker, and like, they were like, man, you got a tough 5 games. And I was like, man, I'm about to kill.
Was that like an out-of-body experience at that point,
100%,
though?
100%.
It was everything you were doing in night one. Like, everything. You were the best player on the floor. And it was LeBron James on that floor, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh. Was that like an out-of-body experience that night?
Yeah, 100%. Like, I was, like I said, I didn't know, I just wanted to win the game. Like, we were just, obviously the game started getting fun. It was close. The crowd was going crazy. We're in the city of Philadelphia, first game against the champs the year before. My parents are in the crowd. They're sitting courtside. So, everything was just, it was a night that, I'll never forget.
And your whole rookie year, I mean, we could go through all the moments. Average 16, 6, and 6, won Rookie of the Year. What was that run like? And what was that like you didn't do it just for one night. You were able to do it for an entire season. And again, like have that confidence of being in the NBA and performing at that level.
Yeah, obviously, I had the ball in my hands a lot. I was able to be successful on the floor. It was great. It was a competitive, thing, of trying to win Rookie of the Year. I remember it was just a goal of mine that I wanted, even, since I got drafted. I was like, man, I'm going to have a great opportunity. And not many people thought I could win it,
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. But, I had confidence in myself. I was like, I got a chance. I just got to go take it.
And yeah, for not many people to think you would win it, count you out on that. And I know there's like the knocks of like whatever that draft year was. And it's the same thing we're hearing right now for this draft that just came through, right? They say it's like a down year draft. Rookie of the year is rookie of the year. Like, I don't care about that. And it's also what you did with your career of like 9 seasons in the NBA. Like, that's hard. People think, it's a given at this point. When you look back on your career, like what sticks with you the most? Are you most proud of?
I think my perseverance. I went through a lot of things that, people don't know. I went through a lot of injuries. I probably had like 5, 6 surgeries. Coming back from each one of those, going ups and downs, playing, then not playing, being in, being out of the rotation, start of the season, being out of the rotation, keeping my mind level to, be patient and work my way into the rotation. So, I think my perseverance was something that, I'm super proud of. I think that there's a lot of guys who, when things don't start going their way, they kind of just collapse and they're like, you know what, if I can't play this way, if I can't do the things that I want to do on the court, then I don't want to be here, or they check out. And I think a part of me was, okay, maybe I don't love my role in this team, but I'm going to play that role as best as I can to, maybe get some more time so that I could do things that I want to do on the court, right? Like, so I always tried to, they call it play the system or a little bit, but you know what I mean? I've always was trying to play the system, trying to get in the coach's ear and be like, hey, what do you need from me so I can get on the court, right? And I think that's something that is a lesson that's hard to learn from a lot of guys. And some guys go through that and they're like, you know what, I'm done with this. I'm going overseas and I'm, playing my game. And then the guys that are able to be like, adapt, they make a long career for themselves.
And that jumped out to me looking at like just your stats throughout the years. Your minutes never really dipped that low. Like, you were always a contributor, especially your first 5 years in the league. Like, double-digit score, around 5 assists a game, around 5-6 rebounds a game you were averaging. But how tough was that with what you did in Philly? And then I think a year and a half in, they just traded to Milwaukee. Was that something, again, you were very young of like, what's going on?
Yeah, that was tough for me. That was hard. I didn't understand it. I was always part of the plans in Philly. Even when I didn't, necessarily ask, to be in meetings and to contribute, my opinion when I was asked, I think it was hard for me. I didn't understand why. I never felt the feeling of, being traded, kind of that betrayal of what that was like. So yeah, no, it was tough. It was an experience that I had to go through, as a basically as a kid. So, it was a tough thing that, still don't understand. I don't try to understand it. It is what it is. It's the name of the game. So, but everything happens for a reason. And, I just kind of eventually I had to take it in stride and move on.
And you did. And it was, again, like 2 seasons in Milwaukee. What was that like? Was it, again, a reset of your game, a reset of your role? Because you go from being what you were in Philly to now you're playing with Jabari Parker and Giannis when you were there. And then also talk about systems, playing for a whole new head coach and Jason Kidd, who probably had a whole different approach to the game and everything.
Right. It took me some time to adjust. We made the playoffs, one year and we did our thing. We lost to Chicago, but it was a great experience. We were a young team. It kind of set, the core for Milwaukee, right? You know what I mean? Though I don't think if they didn't go through those moments, Giannis being a young guy going in the playoffs, getting his butt kicked, Chris, Middleton, same thing, right? Like, that eventually turns into, them winning a championship, right? And going through those tough moments, was probably able to help them, going through tough moments, in the playoffs when they did end up winning it. So it was cool, man. It was a great experience, the playoff atmosphere. Totally, Milwaukee went from, when we played home games against Chicago, it felt like we were playing away games to, what they are now, right? Yeah. So it was a great experience overall.
Were there any nights when you're playing with Milwaukee, you're looking at him like, this kid is like raw, but he's good and he's going to be special?
Yeah, man. It was like, I would watch him play, and there would be like 5-6 moments in the game where you're like, whoa, like if he can do that 12, 13 times a game, and then that turns into 20 times a game, like he's going to be unstoppable, right? And, you'd get those little moments and be like, man, like that's pure talent right there. And then over the years, as he kept working and as he kept progressing, his body filled out, his body caught up to his skill, and it was over then.
We always know like Giannis is one of the biggest competitors. Like, we'll run through any wall that's in front of him, just wants to win. Do you have any story from your time with Giannis where like that's like the real deal? You know, what you see is what you get, and what you hear about Giannis is true.
Oh yeah, I mean it was every night. Like we'd call it night school. We'd come back, after practice, after games. We'd come back. We'd shoot at night. We'd lift, play 1-on-1. I remember him and Jabari played 1-on-1. And we're all talking trash, bickering back and forth. They're going at each other, calling tic-tac fouls, being soft, and then we decided like, hey, like we're not calling no more fouls. Like you just got to play through it. And that kind of messed me up because I'm the smallest one out of them two. So they start, lowering their shoulder into me, and I'm like, dang, did I mess up by saying no more foul calls? But like it just taught us to be, tough and to go through things and don't let the physicality stop us from, scoring the ball. And, at that moment when we were playing there, I was like, man, both of them at the time, I was like, man, these dudes are going to be unstoppable.
You spoke about, your perseverance through the league, and you detailed it in your Players Tribune article. I think it was great. Like, anyone out there always loved the Players Tribune of seeing the athletes open up, and like you wrote it, you said your story. It wasn't just a physical toll. You mentioned the injuries to your body, but like the mental health battles that you had throughout the league. What was that like trying to figure that out? And it was before the resources are what we have today, where
Right.
you can speak open about it. Where it was where you were, 8-9 years ago, you can't be as open about therapy. You can't be as open about dealing with anxiety, depression, anything. So what was it like trying to navigate that and figure it out, and for you to finally find your solution where you felt better and you were treating yourself and looking out for yourself?
Yeah, man, it was a hard thing for me to do. Going through it, kind of not knowing what it was at the time, why I felt certain ways, understanding my anxiety, understanding what depression is. There was days where, I didn't even want to leave my bed. Like there was a lot of, hard days. But to put in the work to, get my mind right, how I view life itself, my focus level, not relying on certain things to, be happy, figuring all those and getting those answers and kind of looking within myself and being like, what makes me happy, and how am I going to, make decisions and make choices in my life to benefit, kind of my happiness, without being detrimental to myself, right? Like, so I think, understanding those answers, finding out those answers, and, being able to, just understand myself. It was a long process, but eventually getting in on the other side was great. And I felt I felt like once I figured that out for myself, I could kind of see it in other people, right? I could see that anxiety and I could see that depression, in other athletes, and I was like, man, like having these conversations with them, trying to help them out, it meant a lot to me, especially when I was able to get through to people.
Mm-hmm. What changed? Like, obviously there's going to therapy and taking those steps. But beyond that, like you could go to therapy once a week, you can go 7 days a week or once a month, but there's those changes you have to make every day and like all your choices. What changed for you that helped you a lot?
Well, I think, like I said, understanding myself. I think that, I would try to, make choices that would make myself happy in the moment. But then, I look back at those decisions, whether it's a week or a month from then, and I'm like, man, I didn't like that. Like, I just try to fill a void that I was feeling, right then and there. And that was, those thoughts were led by, anxiety or depression, and just trying to fix myself at the moment instead of taking the long route and being like, this isn't just an on and off switch where I can just, fix myself, in a day. It takes time. It takes effort. Like you said, it takes, some therapy. The therapy was big for me. Meditation, all the things that, I did to, really, really try to get help and understand, what was going on. It was life-changing for me.
Did you notice it, and you said it, you saw it in your teammates, you saw it in players, once you got to the other side and, took care of your mental health and you were feeling better mentally, did you realize how you weren't the only one and how common it is for just across the NBA alone?
Yeah, and especially when I, when I put out that Players Tribune article, there was so many people that reached out to me and were like, man, like I felt like I was writing this myself. Like I've had all these feelings, and so many people came up to me or DM'd me or wrote me, emailed me, or like, man, I have mental health issues, and your article was special because I could relate, and even seeing other athletes go through it with my own eyes and me figuring it out, I still didn't know how much it affected the amount of people that reached out to me.
How important was it when you got to Orlando? That's what helped. How candid, how transparent were you able to be with like the franchise, the front office on what you were dealing with?
It was hard because the league's a tricky thing, man. Like I didn't want to go in there, and I was new to the team. I just got there, but the therapist on the team was big for me. And obviously everything that between me and the therapist is confidential, even with the team. So it was great that the organization provided that, because that really helped me. And it's tough. It's tough to be open, right? Like, and at that time, I still wasn't comfortable with talking about it. But yeah, having him helped me a lot. And
that's what I think of. People have their bad days, and someone's dealing with something. For you guys, for NBA players, for pro athletes of any sport, it's so tough because in the NBA, you have to be on 82 nights a year, let's say, minimum. So what was it like to deal with that? And then also you still have to watch out for your public perception, if that makes sense, because that's what I think of when an athlete goes through, everyone's like, you're making millions. Like, what can your issues be, right? Mm-hmm. Or whatever. You're playing a game. How bad can it be? But there is that pressure from the outside. There is that you always have to be on or always be, right when you're on the court, when you're walking into the arena, when you're in your day-to-day life, because you're an NBA player. You can't go to the corner store, get a bottle of water without someone recognizing you.
Right.
So did that have a toll on it? Just like overall too, like when you're dealing with it, it's like there wasn't just that escape of like, all right, I could go to my job and escape. It's like, no, my job tonight is playing in front of 20,000 people.
Right. Yeah. And it's tough, no matter what you say, when people are watching you, there's a level of anxiety or worries, that come with that. It's just a natural build of a human being. Right. So if you have to perform 82 games, 82 times in a year, and you're going through things off the floor, it's hard to keep that shelled. So, people can see that. And in the game we play, we're judged for it all the time, right? Like if you have a couple bad games, the game is fleeting. You have 10 bad games, people say you suck. If you have 10 good games, people say you're great. So it's hard. You're constantly judged on your performance, no matter what you're going through off the floor, family, friends, death, anxiety, depression, like no matter what it is, people are going to judge you, and that's the name of the game. I'm not saying that, there's definitely perception to it. We have tons of perks in life, but that doesn't mean, things are easy. So it's tough at times.
Does it feel good, like when you wrote that and put it out there? Because I'm sure like your teammates knew about it, but like for the world to know, and also that's big for just pro athletes in general. Like you show you're going through it. I know obviously Kevin Love's a big advocate for mental health. Same with DeMar DeRozan. There's guys in other leagues as well. Was that big when you wrote that, put it out, the Players Tribune article went out, to see the feedback you got? And then also, again, it's even though we're in 2024 now, like breaking down that stigma of like mental health's health. It's not mental health. It's not physical health. It's health.
Right. It's health. Yeah. Yeah. No. I mean, taking care of your mind is just as important as taking care of your body. If not more important. So when that article came out, and I did get the feedback that I got, like it was great. Like it meant a lot to me. I didn't know what kind of feedback that I would get back. I'm sure that I had an idea of people, reaching out to me and saying, I didn't know you were going through that, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? But I think, the relatability that I had with a lot of people, that's what meant a lot to me. I was like, man, at least they know that they're not the only ones out here. And, maybe they are, maybe now they have the confidence to go get some help.
Yeah, I think it's, because people would see the amount of games you played per season. They're like, oh, Michael Carter Williams probably dealt with injuries like body. But it was on top of the injuries you were dealing with, where something you dedicated your life to since you were in high school. And all of a sudden you see like your body's not allowing you to perform at the level you want to. Then the mental aspect comes into it. So there's more than there was just like the physical toll, it was like the mental toll at that point. Where I bet a lot of people like kind of wrote it off of like, oh, injuries, body, it happens in the NBA. But it's dealing with so much more.
Right. No, it is. It's dealing with so much more. And even the injuries itself, it plays a mental game on you, right? Like you're telling your mind is telling your body to do something that your body just can't do. right? So I would be out on the floor and I'd be trying to do something, and I'd be like, man, like there's no way that I know I could do this, or I know I could get this loose ball, but like my body's just not letting me. And that's a mind game in itself that, you know, is stressful. It's like, you know, you can do something, but your body's just not letting you do it. It can drive you crazy.
What's the advice you would give to any athlete, any level, that is dealing with like the mental health issues or battles themselves?
I would say, you know, get help. You know, I think therapy was a big thing for me. You know, recognize what you're doing to try to help yourself. You know, what mechanisms are you using on a day-to-day basis? I would say get educated on what you're going through, right? If it's anxiety, you know, get educated on anxiety. If it's depression, get educated on depression. You know, get to the root of your issue. Don't just try to cover it with a Band-Aid. And, you know, I think that's what, you know, as soon as I stopped doing that, that's what helped me a lot.
I feel like it was tough too. When you were coming up and coming through the league, that's when social media was really like booming. Instagram, Twitter, all a big thing. I feel like that add to it too, because it's the same thing of really it's 24/7 now in the public eye. And there's putting that perception out. You know, you post a picture smiling, people think it's all good. Mm-hmm. They find out about your mental health and they like, look, like I didn't know you were dealing with that. But I feel like also navigating, figuring out how much social media is healthy is a big part of that too.
For sure. I mean, yeah, I think people try to hide behind social media.
Yeah.
They try to pretend like things are going well when they're not. Yeah, it's in a way, it's a false sense of reality, like you said. Like, you know, social media gives the platform for anybody to say anything about you. Gives people a chance to, you know, hide behind their issues, and you know, life's not like that. You know, and as soon as, you know, us as a nation, you know, kind of recognizes that, you know, I think, you know, things will be better.
Yeah, for like what I do, same things, public perception, not to the scale that pro athletes are on, but like post on Instagram, post on Twitter, whatever. And some of my friends I work with are that in the industry, like they tell me like I read every comment, and I tell them like you can't do that. You can't give like life to these people that you don't know who they are. Some of them don't have their names or faces on it. And that's a big thing of like just knowing what's real, what's not.
Yeah, no, I've fallen victim to that as
Yeah,
well. You know, I mean, it happens to the best of us, but yeah, you know, you can't sit there and read every comment and try to, you know, take everything serious. Like, it's just, people are going to say what they're going to say. They can, like I said, they hide behind, you know, social media accounts to, you know, release stress. I don't know, whatever. The reason people go on Instagram and decide to heckle people or be mean or whatever. Yeah, but, you know, staying away from that is the best thing you can probably do.
Wow, that was such an amazing interview. George, I love George's interview style. He just, you know, he almost reels you in, Ante. It's, you know, and next thing you know, you're so comfortable and you're spilling all the beans. You're talking about all your feelings. I mean, bro is like Oprah Winfrey with his style. I love it. For more of this, coming up on an upcoming episode of Boston Has Entered the Chat, make sure you check that out on Nesson's YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, wherever you get your podcast. Make sure you follow us as well on all your social media accounts for all of our best content. But Tay, like, man, that was... I loved how it was basketball, but it was also life and real life situations and mental health, obviously. And you and I were talking off camera about therapy and mental health and different things like that. And, you know, I just, you know, kudos to George, but also kudos to Michael Carter Williams for opening up in that way and being so transparent and so honest, Dante.
Yeah, it's definitely so. And I think people used to think about that all the time, like, or say, hey, like, you're a basketball player, you getting this, you're getting that, you should be happy, you should be, you know, appreciative. That was always the word. You're not appreciative of the things that you have and the things that you're getting. And I think he touched on that, like, of course you're appreciative, you know what I mean? Of course you love the things that comes along with being a basketball player, but that doesn't necessarily always make you happy, right? Those are material things.
That's right.
And so happiness isn't always dependent upon that. I wouldn't even say isn't always, is never, you know what I mean, really dependent upon that. So I'm really glad that he shared his story with us. I'm glad that he shared his story with the Tribune. He's just been a great proponent of that, man, and he was an amazing basketball player.
He was.
I can tell you that too.
Yeah, it's funny because I was telling you I don't have a ton of Syracuse memories for some reason, but I just remember those early years, Rookie of the Year obviously, and just him being an absolute baller. And then as his career went on, you know, I just felt like he was a good role player and a good rotation guy, but never could kind of recapture that rookie season.
Yeah.
But he was an absolute baller, and obviously being from this area, he's a legend, Ante.
Yeah, he is a legend, and it was funny. I was listening to him talk, and he was talking about the no fouls with him and Giannis, and all of that, the late night crew that they had, and. Bro, like that just brought me back to the park days.
Yeah.
Like, dude, that's how I grew up. That's I feel like how I really earned my skin in the game and like got my toughness. And like my family used to like take me out to the park and like you play with the grown men, and I'm a skinny little wiry guy, and they're like, nah, there ain't no fouls, ain't none of that. You gotta figure it out. And like now I feel like whenever I got to play and I was like, at the peak of my playing abilities, I was never really looking to the refs for anything. I was never whining, never complaining. Get to the free throw line a lot just because I was always just, you're going to have to foul me. Like, you got to foul me. Like, I'm going to make you foul me. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I appreciated listening to that.
Yeah, you know what I call that you got, Ante? It's called, that dog! You got that dog in ya.
That dog.
All right, now, let's play a game.
Yes, sir.
Wicked or kick it. This is where we judge NBA player drip. Now, this one is international edition, baby. Yeah!
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So first we got the Sudanese team wearing their outfits for the opening ceremony. So what do you think about this, Travis?
I love this, bro. This is slick. Everybody's on the same page. Everyone understood the assignment.
Yep.
How do you not love this? The shades, the all black everything. Man, I love this, bro. This is clean as hell. I want to get on my man the second one there with his shoes, because everybody got the memo
the
to wear all black. But it's his swag.
It is.
It's his swag. Like, I got it, right here. Like, it's like, bro, like, we wearing all black. What you doing? But that tells me, the swag is on 100,000 trillion. Bro got aura. So I respect it. This is definitely wicked all the way.
Yeah, I agree. As soon as I saw this, all I was thinking is everything I've been wanting, manifesting for your life. It's just giving me those vibes, you know what I mean? Like real, like blessed vibes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I'll definitely rock with it. I love the like pins that they got on the lapel as well. Those are dope.
Yeah, bro.
They just look so dope, bro.
It works.
Speaking of these, did you see like the other? I can't remember which African country it was, but they had like a neck lining that looked like Africa, that was like shaped like Africa.
Wow.
During the opening ceremonies as well. I wish I had a picture of that.
Yeah, you gotta find that next wicket or kick.
Yeah, that one was super dope as well. But all the African countries did a really good job in the opening ceremonies. They look great. So this is dope, bro. It almost looks a lot better than the American ones, which we'll see in a second. Don't
start hating on the American ones.
But I'm going wicked on this one. This is actually this is like a 9-9. Like this is like almost perfect, dude.
I agree. If Greg, if you could take it full, this is just like in a way. I know we're just talking about the drip, but this is like an iconic picture.
Yeah.
Just overall, right? Like, if this is me and you and two of our boys, bro, this is the greatest picture ever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you're at the Olympics, you're in France, like, y'all all decked out together. The drip, the swag, everything is where it needs to be. I'm telling you, they understood the assignment. This is an iconic picture that these guys will look back on forever. Now, in the exhibition game, they gave Team USA the work. Yeah. But when it counted, they got worked. So, this picture, they got to lean on this because they ain't getting no dubs around him.
Facts.
All right, let's go to USA.
Yes, sir. Stephen Curry is going to show off the USA fit. This is what all of the players and all of the, athletes, honestly, for the entire USA, not just basketball, wore on the boat. So what do you think of this one, Travis?
I love it. I mean, come on, Tay. What is not? Well, how could you kick this? This is wicked all the way. You know what it looks like? Greg, if we could take it full, this looks like I'm the greatest shooter of all time. I'm about to get on a boat.
Yep.
Have the time of my life at opening ceremonies.
Yep.
And then drop 30 in your face, shooting from any continent I want. That's what it looks like. That's what this entire outfit looks like. Greg, if you could go down to the shoes, check out my white shoes. Check out the white shoes. I mean, bro's got the white shoes rocking, not a scuff to be seen. Look at those. That's bleach white right there. That's never been stepped on. You better not even get within 3 feet of me. Don't even look at my shoes because you might smudge them. That's clean as hell. Then you got the dad jeans. I'm a dad. I understand it. And then I like the blazer. I like the tie with the shirt. Man, this is clean as hell, man. This is wicked.
I disagree.
Come on, bro. What's your problem?
I disagree.
He looks like a grown-up.
I disagree. This looks like a Popeyes fit. Look, that's what it looks like. Popeye the Sailor, bro. This is a terrible fit. What was his girl's name?
Olive oil.
Olive oil. There you go. I'm a little young for Popeye, but you know what I'm saying? It looked like an olive oil type fit.
What's wrong with you, bro?
I can't get with this sailor fit, man.
It's red, white, and blue.
I don't care. With the jeans?
Yes, he's a dad. They're dad jeans.
Yeah, but everybody have to wear the jeans. Like, this is terrible, Travis. I can't rock with it, bro. LeBron's was better because he had the white coat on. That was tough. I can't lie. Him and Coco, they had the white coat on.
Tough.
But the blue.
Why are you hating on?
Nah, it looks like they're about to go play croquet out in the front yard, man. Nah, I ain't rocking. I'm not rocking with it, man. I'm not rocking with it. This is a kick it, bro.
Bro, why you hating, bro?
Oh, it's a kick it. It's like a 5.3. 5.2.
What?
5.2. Yeah.
See, now I know how you feel.
Yeah.
Because usually I'm the hater. And you're like, yo, Trav, this is swagged out. You tripping this time, bro.
USA could do better. They could do better.
I mean, that I won't argue with. I won't argue with you. But I'm going wicked here. You're going kick it. All right, fair enough. All right, look. How about the money? Let's talk about the money. Jared Allen, 3 years, $91 million to remain with the Cavaliers. It's an extension. Listen, I'll be honest with you, bro. This is where I'm at with it, okay? From a Cavaliers standpoint, they clearly picked a side. We are leaning into our players. We do not believe the players were the problem. We believe that J.B. Bickerstaff was the problem. They run him out of town. They bring in Atkinson. Donovan Mitchell gets paid. Jared Allen gets paid. Okay. Okay. Now, what you're telling me is, because I'm not trying to hate, because I do like that Cleveland team. I do. And I've defended them a lot of times. But, I mean, Ante, I watched the games. I was right with you, so I know you did. I saw Donovan Mitchell not finish a series. I saw Jared Allen not even playing a damn series. I mean, you're leaning into these players, okay, but the last time we saw them when it mattered, neither one of these guys were playing.
I got to say, shots all around. I guess Mike Gansey is drinking just like how I'm going to be drinking this weekend, bro.
I mean, am I wrong? Like, can you count on these dudes?
Because you're not. Because I'm feeling like he's just drunk making decisions right now.
Yeah, I don't know about Tay.
He's drunk.
This is a bad contract, you think?
This is all of them. All three of them.
Wow.
All three are bad extensions. Yeah, I'm willing to go say it. Because what's the point, right? My thing is, I hate being in NBA purgatory. You don't want to be the team that's not good enough to win an NBA championship, but good enough to make the playoffs every year. It's the worst spot to be in the NBA.
Facts.
And that's all he did. It was confirmed that, hey, we want to put butts in the seat.
Right.
See, he's got me drunk too. I can't even speak right now. I told you, just drunk. We're all drunk. It's terrible, Travis. It's a terrible move. I don't like it. Stop signing all these dudes and bringing them back after they clearly had some type of issue wanting to play with each other last year.
Okay.
It doesn't work. Move on.
Wow. How about Ante bringing the heat? I thought, hey, no excuses now for these players are clearly being given the keys to the car. I don't think it's the best idea, but I'm willing to let it play out. Ante coming in hot. This is stupid. He's calling people drunk. I wish that I was, but I'm not. But man, I mean, this is, hey, Tay, you know what? I always tell you this. From a basketball X's and O's standpoint, things that you see, I always defer to you with your eyes. So we shall see. Congratulations, Cleveland, on another 4 or 5 seed for the next 5 seasons. That's exactly what it is. For all of our best content of the day, follow us on Facebook, X, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. For Travis Thomas and my man, Ante Campbell, till next time on Hold My Banner when we ask you to hold it again. Peace!